Hey you guys, so I've had a lot of questions about my pencil tumbler, doing it from start to finish. So not only am I going to show you the steps of how to spray paint it and all that stuff, but I'm going to start from the very beginning, which is going to include showing you how to properly space it out and get those vinyl cuts in your Cricut design space if that's what you use. Okay, so the first thing, whenever I don't know how to size things or I want it to look a specific way, I always come into design space and play around with some things. So the first thing that I did was I searched for a pencil, and I just clicked this one because I liked how it was in different pieces and I knew that I could separate each of them. So I ungrouped it and I manipulated it. I moved them together, got rid of the spaces, and I manipulated it to look how I wanted it to. So like that. Move this one up. I did not like how thick the eraser was, so I narrowed it down a little bit, and I just connected all the pieces and grouped them. Then I played around with the size. Now originally I made this one here, this was my original one. I made it for these keychains. So before I started doing the tumblers, I started with these keychains. They were so much easier. And if I messed up, it was whatever. So I did these keychains, and this is how I made my template for this. And I needed to size my template because I actually put this vinyl on the keychain to make my lines. And I will do a tutorial on the keychains later. But I had to size the template to fit the 3 inches this way, and about the 1 1/4 inch this way, to where it still looked good. So I played around with this pencil a lot, and got it to how I wanted it to look like this. Obviously this looks terrible with the lead. But you get what I'm saying. So I played around with it to get each section how I wanted it to look, to where it actually looked like a pencil. I've seen a lot of tumblers where like the eraser was this thick and then you had the silver down here and you only had a little bit of yellow, or I've seen them where the lead is really, really thick, and I was not a fan of those because I really wanted it to look like a true pencil. So after I played around with it and sized it, that's what I got. Now, because I'd already had this situated, this image, how I wanted it, when it came time to doing the pencil tumbler, I took that image and I measured the size of my tumbler top to bottom, so 7 1/4 inch, and I took my already pre-made pencil from the keychains and I made it so that from top to bottom it was 7.25 in width. Now this allowed me to look at each section individually. And really I only did the top and bottom. So it made me think about, all right, so this right here is about a little bit less than an inch, so 0.9 inches. And then the eraser is about 0.8 inches. So that's where I got my size from. So once I did that, once I got my size and knew what I wanted, I knew that I needed the squiggly lines to go around the bottom of the cup. I do my lead on the bottom and my eraser on the top. I know some people do it the other way, but this is how I prefer. So I prefer eraser, basically like a pencil standing up when it's sitting down. So eraser on top, lead on the bottom. So I knew I needed some squiggly lines to guide me because I knew I wasn't going to be able to freehand that. So what I did is I went to images, and I think I typed in border, but a ton came up and I spent tons of time looking at it, looking for one that I liked. And I found one, and there's no easy way to find it, but I did get the code for you guys. So it is, if you type hashtag M42D40, then this image will pop up. And that is how I create my squiggly lines. So, the place where the squiggly lines are going is about here on the tumbler. So I measured the width, which is about, which is about 9.25. So what I ended up doing is I took a rectangle and I made it 9.25 inches long. And I played with this to where if I wanted it to go from beginning to end, what the size would be. And I also wanted it to be perfect to where they were all the same. Here, let me. All right, so I played with this because I wanted them all, I wanted it to where if I started here and ended here around the circle, that they would meet back up with each other and not look weird, or you not have one hump to where, so like here is half a hump, because that's where it would end. So I sized this out so that when I put this on, boom, it would end there. So I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 humps of my gold part, and it would end right there. So basically when I put the stickers on, it would get all the way around my cup and overlap nicely. So I cut these out, and I typically cut, I make as many go to a sheet as possible. So when I cut them, I copy and paste this so that this whole sheet is filled, because I'll use them multiple times. So that's how I did the Cricut part of it.